The key thing is this segment, which we're going to talk about today, like Bo alluded to, residential assisted living to get them better care. So that was a boom. And it's going to be a boom in residential assisted living for next 40 years.
But there's lots of ways to finance these that you got to be strategic. But that's the beauty of it. So you can be very creative on how you structure these. You don't necessarily need to go raise a bunch of money and do a syndication.
I hope everybody just, think about when you want to accomplish something, you figure out ways.
You're making some pretty
Yes.
good coin. Today was great. And I think you crushed it today,
Yes.
Vinny. You crushed it. Welcome everybody. Thanks for attending. I put on different events, and I've known Vinny for a long time, and we actually have a podcast, a YouTube show we do called the Vinny and Bo Show, and I've watched him over the years from multifamily to hotels to big big assisted living facilities, and now transitioning into residential assisted living. So Vinny and I have known each other for 9 or 10 years. And Vinny's done a lot in real estate. And I was excited when I learned about his new ventures. I'm helping him finance some of them. And we'll talk about SBA financing because that's kind of my background.
Yep.
I do SBA financing and some franchise work. But today's show is really about residential assisted living facilities. And I love it because it's not a scary asset class, meaning a lot of us own residential properties right now, which can be converted to a residential assisted facility. You can lease them. Takes far less
Yep.
capital. And I
Yeah.
believe, based on all the research I've done, it's the place to be going forward. And I think Vinny's presentation today is going to show you why we're betting on residential assisted living facilities. So without further ado, Vinny, why don't you take it away?
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. This is Vinny Chopra. Live right here near San Francisco in the Bay Area, California. And I've been in multifamily, well, single family homes. Then from there, graduated to multifamily, small units, 14 units, 100 units, 200, 300 units, and built it from when I came from India with $7 to almost over $1 billion in AUM, assets under management and purchase, where I was on the loan and everything. We still have some assets, but as you know, with the interest rates going where they are, last 4 or 5 years, it's been really difficult to make cash flow. In the cost of insurance has gone up, the mortgages have gone up, and everything. So a lot of red color over there in the multifamily space. I know a lot of other people have moved to storages and RV parks and laundromats and car washes, which is fabulous. Some of my students are doing like wineries they're buying and other stuff and manufacturing plants. The key thing is this segment, which we're going to talk about today, like Bo alluded to, residential assisted living. Let me kind of tell you also, I've been doing assisted living, ground up constructions in Florida, in Virginia, and my partner has been doing in Michigan also. The key thing is we were building these from ground up in 7 acres of land, very luxurious assisted livings. But then we found out the loans were harder to get, the cost of construction went up high, everything. So in the last 2, 3 years, I've been really positioning myself to get into residential assisted living. So that's what we're going to talk about. And let me share with you all my PowerPoint presentation. So, what is residential assisted living, RAL? Just like the word says, residential, it's a single family home. What? The seniors are taken care of in a single family home environment, which is just like their home, which they probably, if they had slip and fall, or if one of the partner passes away, they cannot cook or drive or bathe. So they need assisted assistance with the daily living, ADLs, it's called. And that's when they come to assisted living. If they are very sick, they go to rehab centers or hospitals, but usually they come into the assisted living where there is a 24-hour care and the food is given very nutritious food, exercises are done, and the caregiver ratio, caregivers to the seniors ratio is like 4 to 1 or 5 to 1, as compared to the big box commercial residential livings are there too, 200, 300, 400, maybe even big communities. But there the ratio can be 1 to 10, 1 to 15, 1 to 20. So seniors are not really getting that much attention. So I'm Vinny Chopra. I'm from India originally, recognized 3 books, and I've raised, like all the way to 1 billion. We talked about. I'm a philanthropist. All the profits from my books and everything, I give it to the charities, because you've done so well in myself, my family, with the syndication business and all these things like that. So I've helped lots of investors. They are millionaires, multimillionaires, because I've bought so many deals, and then given them returns. And then also students that I've taught. And also we have an academy. If anybody's interested, we could, kind of help you there too. Let's talk about this one. See, there are 77 million baby boomers are here in USA alone, and 10,000 plus every night are turning 65. Every night, 10,000 of them. And then almost 4,000 are also turning 85 every night. What? So it's a tsunami. We call it silver tsunami that started in 2017 or 15, I think, and it's going to go on for 2030, actually. So there is a huge landscape. We will need in assisted living alone 1.3 million. I think this is maybe even surpassed it now. I heard some news that we are short as of today 1.3 million beds. What? So there is a huge demand for assisted living. The future of assisted living is going to be humongous. This is 2024 we are right now. So next 16 years, look at that, 42% increase. And 85 years and over, which is assisted living, 111% increase. It's mind-blowing, totally mind-blowing. And then new and assisted living units will be necessary. Over million assisted living units will be. So let me show you even more. See, defining what is residential assisted living, as you can maybe read a little bit, it's personal care. That's the number one thing. It's a living environment where it's like a home, just like the home. Look over here, right there, like a living room, right? And the seniors are living and enjoying the time together, exercises and things like that. And it's a home-like environment that caters to the seniors. This is another graph. I put it over here to show you all, because we are right about 2024, right there in the middle. So we have almost 70 or so million, 68 million are the baby boomers, which are turning 65. Look over here. By 2060, it'll be close to 100 million people. I mean, our whole population is going to be so old as we are getting into the next 30, 40 years. So lots of opportunities will be coming to give great service, products, and everything to seniors. And this is then 85. We have in underneath here, population of 85 in the light graph, which is like about, let's say, close to 7 million, 7.1 million. And it's going to be triple, 300% growth. Look at that. 20 million people will be needing assistance. It's just mind-boggling, totally mind-boggling. And the other part is, let me kind of share with you in the last 5-6 years what I've understood and what I've been able to really get immersed into this sector. Because as we age, we have choice-driven on the left side and we have need-driven on the right side. And that's my company, Monil Senior Living. So no regulation, age restricted apartments like 55 plus, like, golf courses or gated communities, they fall over here. where people are able to downsize and then they go there. Then little regulation, independent living, but they have housekeepers come in and they have transportation that can come in. That's another segment. Again, little regulation, no regulation from the state or federal. But then the other thing is increase acuity right in here, assisted living with they need help with medication or battling assistance or care service or food or medication, all that closely monitored. That's the memory care with Alzheimer. That's a huge one. Lots of people, 1 out of 3, they are predicting will have Alzheimer. That's so sad. But that's the close monitoring can be done also in the assisted living and memory care. So I chose, and that's where all I'm talking about today is the RALs, where each room in the home, if the home is able to get, like, let's say 3,000 rent, let's say 3,000 square feet home gets 3,000 rent in a good neighborhood. But for if there are 5 bedrooms or 7 bedrooms, each room can bring 5,000 to 7,000 rent per bedroom. So, which we'll show you in a model in a second. It's just mind blowing how much revenue is going to come. Of course, you will say, Vinny, oh, there must be a lot of expenses. You're right. But even 65% expenses are still making 10 to 15,000 per month clear profit, and you're helping the seniors to live a dignified, secure life. That's the other part which I love. So this is where we are. Okay, everybody, not over here in the rehab centers or hospitals or anything very complex medical services. We don't have any nurse in our RALs, no doctors, no nurses, anything like that. So let's talk about, I mean, all of you are here for a reason. What are the reasons to invest in RAL? The market demand, number one. You don't want to be in a position where there is no demand and you convert the home into a RAL, residential assisted living, and you don't have any occupancy. No, 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 no. So you find the right location in the neighborhood, and those neighborhoods are all around you. If you just Google where you live and you say residential assisted living, you'll be surprised how many are there. I live in Black Hawk in Danville, California. I just Googled it. I didn't even know there were 10 or 15 or 20 of them right around here, around me. And they look like homes, that literally residential homes and stable income. That's the best part. See, if you have a single family home and you rent it out and the tenants leave, residents leave, then you have to again fix up the house or whatever, and then you lease it again, right? But once you start the real estate, you buy that or have some other person buy the real estate and you operate the business. It's a residential assisted living is a real estate and also the operation. You want to chime in, brother? Yeah. Oh, Bo? Yeah, please go ahead. Because Bo has been, with me in this whole drive and he's able to give me loans, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. Go ahead, Bo. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I think because I work in the franchise space and I work in SBA, so I deal with a lot of like home care franchises, and like I'm getting a bigger understanding of what's out there, and I really like residential assisted living because one is owning residential property is fairly simple. Like it's not overwhelming like buying a 100-unit building. And what I also like is I look at the strategy. What I believe are the best of investments are businesses with real estate, because it's an operating business. Then you get far superior tax write-offs. Like you can utilize cost segregation and things like that. And a lot of people aren't aware of this. I was actually had a call the other day, Vinny, and the couple were both physicians, and they made 550 grand W-2, had no tax write-offs, and they lived in California. It was hard for them to save money, and it's like if they just understood some of these strategies from the tax standpoint alone,
Benefits.
right? The tax benefits alone. Now, Vinny and I aren't CPAs,
No, yeah.
tax attorneys, but the point is that a lot of people just don't pay attention, and a third or more of your income is probably going to pay taxes. So another beautiful thing is the tax piece and being able to potentially utilize SBA financing. So to me, this is a great example of an operating business with real estate. Two of my favorite food groups to be in. So that's kind of my 2 cents for right now. Go ahead.
Surely, surely, Bo. Thank you. Thank you. And again, we'll open up also for question answers. The biggest thing I want to tell everybody watching us today and listening maybe later on podcast too, community impact. That's the beauty also. It's not just making profit, but you are really contributing to improve seniors' lives, dignified and really good food and taking care of with the caregivers. You pay a little bit extra to them so that they are giving their compassionate, they are taking care of mom and dad and grandma, whatever, in a nice way. That's what really gets me excited. As I'm getting younger, I say that I'll be 72 in coming up end of this month. But the exciting thing is that all this is very rewarding, very, very rewarding. Again, I put it also aging population, increased need chart. We talked about it. It's huge, huge. This landscape, you can learn the business and then you could buy one home, convert that into RAL. And, again, you could be operator yourself, but I would say hire an operator like me. I hired operators always last 5 years in Florida. I hired experienced operators. They are there. They are very well versed with all the laws and everything and safety issues and all that. So that's what my thinking is. Don't get consumed with just you want to operate and make more money. No, 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 no. You can get a operator who will do the work and you manage the manager then. That's the beauty of it. So advantages again, personalized care, we talked about that, community engagement right there, and safety and security. See, that's the other part. With all the cutting edge tools now, we are able to get the families connected through iPhone and Android, and they could watch their mom and dad on their iPhone and feel good and talk to them and everything. So lots of very nice different cutting edge softwares are available for their safety, for the security and everything. And trained staff is available to take care of them. And then again, financial benefits, stable income. That's the beauty of it. This could be the RALs you buy and build business on. You could, pass it down as a legacy. And once you start building a cluster of them, that way you could even sell to some big operator too. And if you want to retire and everything. So there are lots of different exits policies that we can talk about also later on. Tax benefits, cost segregation is big. The benefits because it's operation as well as real estate, you're able to deduct for furnitures, everything, because all that is important to start the business, just like a hotel. Hotels have a lot of furniture, lots of equipment and everything, and every dime is deductible in the cost segregation, renovations and all that. The beauty I like, which Brother Bo is going to talk about, SBA loans, and you get the money for the real estate, you also get money for operating the business, and you get money from the Small Business Administration, SBA, for CapEx or the improvements. So three things which cost a lot of money, the Small Business Administration is able to give you that in 7A loan or 504 loan. I'll let this, our wonderful partner, I've been so privileged to know Bo. We've known each other for about 9 years now. And we just love, spending knowledge, giving knowledge, and asking people to really take action on things. So this is a little something I put together, stable and reliable cash flows of about monthly revenue for a 10 seniors. If they are in 5 bedrooms, you could share the seniors in the rooms, or you can have 10 bedrooms and 5 bath or 4 bath home, or you could even take a single family home and convert it interior, take down the walls and make them, appropriately. So if it's 5,000 a senior, you'll collect like 50,000 a month right there. And or if it's 6,000 in certain areas of the USA, it's 7,500, 8,000 even. Where I live in California, it's 12,000 per senior. 12,000. I found out in Danville, which is a very rich area. So that's something. But then occupancy is high. Wow. If you choose the right locations and you find out from the building codes and licensing division in that zip code how many other RALs are there, and ask them if this is the right location. So if you need more knowledge, I also hold a mastermind and everything and teach my students on a weekly basis on that too. But occupancy rate is huge, humongous. If you have it rightly positioned, you should be really 100% occupied. And then high demand leads to impressive occupancies. This is net profit. Everybody watching us, you can make 15 to 20% of the revenue, and even higher, actually, I would say. Usually 10,000 to 15,000 per month you could make as income. For the whole year, it will be like 120,000. That could be a good, solid income coming from one residential assisted living. And then enhancing seniors' life, community. I can just pass through depreciation, tax deferred. I mean, I can go deeper and deeper into it, which you could do, quality of care. But let's go into this one, brother. Again, we have a whole spectrum where if you need more information, we'll give you a chance to meet with me and Louis and Bo if you want to progress further and you want to see how we could help you in setting the business plan for the SBA loan and everything, so that it will be very little money coming out of your pocket and all that, and due diligence, how to do it like that, facility layouts, everything.
So the SBA loans here. So there's an art to actually being able to get SBA financing, because a lot of times you're taking a residential property that is not currently licensed for, you're taking a residential property that's currently not licensed to be a residential assisted living facility, right? And so what you have to do is you either have to do an extended escrow, because you have to get the licensing in place prior to the SBA loan closing. So a lot of times, I come from a real estate investing background, and a lot of my clients have come from, they're investors, but now they're seeing the opportunity in residential assisted living. And so they like rehabbing houses. They like the whole art. Now, the difference is you got to be a good business person to do residential assisted living. It's a lot more in depth than a rental property, right? It's an actual business, and you've got seniors, you got big responsibilities. But what you have to do to structure the financing, if you want the highest leverage possible, is typically what I see is we get bridge financing, which is short-term debt, like a 12-month term. And then you acquire the property, you do the renovations, or you get the plans approved to do the renovations, you get the licensing in place. And when the licensing is in place and all the other paperwork is in, we can get finance with the SBA. So SBA doesn't make the loans, they guarantee a portion of loans. The banks, the credit unions, and non-bank SBA lenders make the loans. They all have different appetites. They all are a little bit different. What I do is I help you navigate and find the best bank for the particular situation, because everybody's got a little bit unique situation. So essentially, let's just say the property was already licensed, or it was getting licensed quickly, and you needed SBA financing. If the license was in place prior to us closing the SBA loan, we could finance as high as 90% of the total project cost. Most of the time, if it's considered a startup, meaning that it's not you don't have an existing residential assisted living and you're expanding, we're going to classify this as a startup. Banks will range from 75 to 85% of total project cost being able to be financed. On some cases, though, we can finance up to 90%. but just figure
Mhm.
around 85%. So if you're buying the property for 800,000 and you needed $100,000 to renovate the property and furnish it, and your total project cost was $1 million, we could finance 850,000 essentially, up to possibly
Mhm.
900,000. You can also build in working capital. You can build in 3 to 6 months of working capital. You can build in employee salary for the first few months. This is what we call total project cost. Now, Vinny has experience in senior care. If you're green and you don't have experience in senior care, can you still get SBA financing? The answer is yes, but you have to position right. You need a resume.
Mhm.
And what you want to do is you want to get an operator. Like Vinny was saying, Vinny is operating in a different state, right? Like he lives
Yeah.
in California, but he's not buying, we're currently in California, he's buying in a desert community, right? And so
Yeah.
his plan is not to be the operator. So what do? You find the best people that have a long resume in running these residential assisted living. And
Yeah.
so that strengthens the deal because now on the most recent deal, Vinny's got a lady that has 20 years of experience.
Yeah.
She'll be operating the day to day, right? And then it's just comes down to, these are questions we're going to dive in with Vinny because I have questions
Mhm.
kind of on the operation side. But strictly from the
Yes.
financing side, one is you could just buy it like you're buying a normal house and then make the renovations out of pocket. Two is you take it down with a bridge loan and then you refinance it essentially.
Oh,
A
did
bridge,
we get? Yeah.
yeah, take it down with an SBA loan.
Wonderful.
Uh, and then there's
Awesome.
also
Awesome.
community banks. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
Excellent, excellent. Thank you both. Thank you, brother. And again, the key thing is once you start going into this one, you get so fired up, just like myself. And by the way, please be sure to download this book. Now, this I wrote it on the senior living. It just goes over a lot of graphs, lots of things, lots of different things. But now I'm writing also a book on RAL because residential assisted living is a low hanging fruit, I call it. It's the one, like Bo said, it doesn't cost too much money to get into a single family home. And especially if you get a good location, but a house which needs renovations and somebody is retiring and you can make a good deal, you could just renovate it. If there is a backside, bigger backyard, you could put even rooms, three more rooms in the back, things like that. But you got to check with the building department and also from the licensing department if that location can survive, because there are regulations of sometime like no residential assisted livings can be within 1 mile, so that overflow or there'll be then density wise will be wrong. So you have to check those things, from the local jurisdictions, counties, I say, to find out all those. The big thing is once you have the home, now you could find the operator. Or let's just do something else. See, I bought two homes actually recently in the desert area, Phoenix area, and one came with a license. What? So it will take me about 2 weeks. Now we got the operator and she's put her license on the application. We submitted it yesterday. Within 2 weeks, I'll be able to start tours in this home, which is already built for assisted living. I bought it like that, turnkey. And it's got furniture. We are buying some more furniture. We bought some things for the kitchen. Yeah, our operator did. Anyway, so we'll be able to start bringing seniors within 2 weeks. And I just bought it last month, the property. So there are different ways to go about it. Also, you might find some RALs in the zip code that you might like to work in, wherever you live across the country. You can find out some tired owners. I call them tired because they've been doing assisted living for last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 15, 20 years, and now they want to retire. Their children don't want to take over, all that. So you could even buy some existing and do some good detective work and look at their reputation and go by and see and then figure it out how much more money you will need to spend to get it to a better place. That's what I say. Don't just be there for making money. No, no. Money will come in droves. So much money will come, you won't even know what to do with it. But the big thing is you want to have the compassion, the rightfulness, and making sure that your product is good, because that's when seniors will be telling other seniors, families will be telling other families, and you will build that strong brand. Staff training, development. See, we don't know much, my company, my daughter, and all of us, my team, but we hire the operators who have 18, 20, 25 years of experience, and they are there. And you pay them good money. And the caregivers, we give them $1.50 to $2 more than the competition. So it's little less for us, but okay. But they stay with you and they will be so happy and give their heart out to the seniors. All right. So it's very, very important. And then, we analyze the competition, define your market and gather the data and assess, demand, all these things. If anybody wants to really get into this business, you're very, very welcome to kind of stay with us and, join. These are the 3 books, by the way, which I mentioned it, and the link is there. Those who joined us later on, please click the link in the chat. You could download all these 3 books as a gift from me and Bo to you for attending the seminar. All 3 books in Audible, in audio file, and also in digital file. And also, if you'd like to find out more about, you would like to meet with me or Louis, and that's where, we put the scan. You could just scan it and set up an appointment to meet with us. And we can take you to the next level and teach you and show you how you could really get into on your path to victory and even get your first RAL in 30 days. It's very possible. I mean, it just took me just this much. Once you get the right people on board and you are able to find the right locations and all, then it's a very easy way. So I'll open up to questions, brother. Bo? Yeah.
Sure. Where do we get the link is in the chat now, so you can download the Vinny book, or you can go to the QR code in the screen, but it is in the chat now. I have renovated rehab 4-bedroom, 2-bath property in Houston. How can I convert to a residential assisted living? I have no loans on the property. So,
Oh, wow. Wow.
yeah.
You're in very good shape. I'm so glad you're saying that. I would say wherever these homes are, maybe they are cluster of them in the same neighborhood or they're spread out. Please take each of those locations and find out other residential assisted livings. Go to the county or, yeah, I think so. It's the county where you will go and find out what other locations have a license there, and then you talk to the building people there whether your location can be converted, is the word, converted into residential assisted living. They will tell you the location. Oh, no, it's too close to this one or that one. Once you know the location is correct, then you come up with the ADA compliance because you just did the renovation for a regular person to live in. But now you need to see where the bathrooms have to be walk-in showers, they call it. You may have to take out the tubs. You may have to put some ramps, not that much expensive at all. Or you may have to see if there are some hazardous, corners or things like that. How many bedrooms and, those hand bars and everything will need to be put in. But they will tell you what, and the inspector can even come to your property to tell you what needs to be done to get the license.
And then they also tell you how many beds, something like that you're able to put in there, because a lot of times people retrofit the house to add walls, take out rooms like open space that
Yes.
wouldn't be utilized, and they're maximizing to get, enough beds in there to make it more profitable venture. Does it make more sense to
Yes.
use your own money or syndicate for these rental properties? Well, these, it first of all, it depends if you're going to have like if you're going to be an owner of the property and an owner of the business, because there's a difference,
Mhm.
right? Some people could raise money and just for to own, like you could be an investor and just own the real estate for an operator and get a good lease agreement in place, right? Like, hey, I don't want
Mhm.
to run this, but I have money and I'll buy
Yes,
the house, and then, instead of me
totally.
getting 4,000 in rent, you pay me 9,000. I get way more
Yeah.
rent because I'm helping you get this assisted living. We see a lot of relationships. I think you can see relationships in a lot of different ways structured,
Yeah.
right, Vinny? I mean, the nice thing about
Yeah,
this, if you use
totally.
SBA financing, you don't necessarily need partners.
Yes, that's what I was going to say because it finances almost 90%. So very little money is needed, but it can be worked either way. You could do syndication if you want to buy more residential assisted living. Remember syndication money, which I've been, doing syndications all my life, right? That's where I got to $1 billion. But 70% of your efforts, you're working for the investors. Syndication money is expensive money, because you're giving them 70% of the share of the cash flow and the upside and everything. But if you are able to do it yourself, great. Syndication model, fund model is awesome. Or if you have family members who have retirement money sitting around, or your close friends, you could even just do so that they put the down payment. And then you could just not syndicate, but they will be the owner of the house. You will be the operator. As you learn the business, you hire the operator and everything. So it can be worked out without syndication. That's what I love. I should write another book, how not to syndicate and still get great cash flows. So
Yeah,
I'm very, very excited about this new field. It's a low hanging fruit, big demand. It's not multifamily where I had to go to workforce housing and where the jobs were, where the companies were. Now I have to go into residential home communities away from businesses and everything. We don't need to. And economy has zero effect, by the way. Wow. This is a big one. I should make a bullet point of that one. I don't know if you know that or not, everybody watching us. 2007, 8, 9, there was zero effect on senior assisted living. Zero, because it's a need driven business. People who were in the centers, they had to stay in the centers. Their occupancy didn't go down. They had to pay the rent, which they were paying every month, which they have already accumulated into long term care or savings or reverse mortgage on their home. So that was the one market that had zero effect of the downfall of 2007, 8, 9. Similarly, now also, if there is a downturn in the economy, senior living is not going to go bad at all. As a matter of fact, COVID helped RALs a lot. Why, you might say? Vinny, what are you talking about? COVID, everybody got hurt, not residential assisted living. The big boxes got hurt because there were some deaths there if they didn't have the right procedures or whatever. But the key thing is in residential assisted living, it's only one door coming in and one door going out. It's a small structure, and people were able to really want their parents to come out of the big box and come to the residential assisted livings after COVID or during COVID even, to get them better care. So that was a boom, and it's going to be a boom in residential assisted living for next 40 years. As a matter of fact, there is that map. I should have shown it. There is a concentration of so many RALs around metropolitan areas like Minnesota, for example, or Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Utah, then, of course, in Idaho, Michigan, and then over here on this side, I'm just saying Portland and Seattle. Then in the Bay Area, Los Angeles, San Diego. San Diego is huge, mecca of RALs. Then residential, I mean, Phoenix area, even Las Vegas. I know Bo is right there in Las Vegas. We have looked at over there. And then in, Alabama, I mean, look at that. Mississippi, every state has lots of great locations. The one thing which I want to mention to you all, is these are 80, 85, 95-year-old seniors. 70% of them are ladies, by the way, 70%, because they survive. Even if the husband passes away, spouse passes away, they are able to live longer and so on. So the key thing is the grandchildren and the children want to put their loved ones. They would love to keep them in their home, but because they're working and other things, they just cannot take care of their loved ones, their parents or grandparents at home. That's why they want them to go to residential assisted living near to where they live. So that's the beauty of it. You could find great locations in every community, That's what I want to kind of give you the spectrum. It's a vast, but once you dig into, you say, you know what, I'm a flipper, I'm a wholesaler, or I've been buying in Houston, just like somebody said, or I live over here. It's okay, but do some research, find out how can you start an senior assisted living residential. You got to use the word residential. And then you go by, if that's the area you want, go to the building permits and go to the licensing board. It's very simple. There is one lady there or one guy there, and they are the ones who approve, disapprove, and all. They will tell you everything about that location and who else has license around there. It's a public knowledge, all that. So it's a pretty good market, but you got to get started. You got to get started.
What we're talking about DSCR is that the business you're buying, this assisted living, if you're buying an existing one, for SBA, it needs the debt service. And like the cash flow needs to support the debt, essentially. But there's lots of ways to finance these that you got to be strategic. But that's the beauty of it. We talked about self-directed IRAs. You can get, if you have a friend like Vinny who's got a retirement account, Vinny could potentially be an investor in mine and help me take down the property and with his retirement account. So you can be very creative on how you structure these. You don't necessarily need to go raise a bunch of money and do a syndication.
That is so very important that you understand that these are placement people or locators. They call them locators or placement of seniors people. They have built business in talking to the doctors, talking to the nurses, talking to hospitals, and so forth. By the way, your RAL needs to be closer to the hospital also. Keep that in mind. There are certain restrictions because, what happens if emergency happens? How far is your home from the nearest hospital and things like that? But what you do is once you get the operator in, they have a network of people, and they know the people who are in touch with agencies, and they are also in touch with rehab centers and also hospital officials. So whenever they need, or doctors, whenever they need to place a senior, they get the lead, then they give that lead to your operator and you pay a fee, leasing fee they call it, which is just like renting an apartment, kind of like that. But the beauty in this one is once the senior comes, your beautiful, delightful product will keep them there about 3 years, 3.5 years. So you just pay a small fee, leasing fee. But then the senior, if you are doing a good job in keeping them healthy and all the caregiving is right and everything, they don't want to move because they bring their own beds and furniture and all for the room, and it becomes their own room actually in your house, in your home. So it's a beautiful thing. Now there is also a place for mom. That's a website. If you just Google that, place for mom, they spend millions of dollars, I think, in SEO, search engine optimization, for assisted senior living. So when I was building over there in Florida, we would get some leads from such a place for mom. They were really, really big company, and they charge 1 month rent. Wow, $5,000 to place one senior in your community. But the key thing is they used to give that name, that lead, to every assisted living facility in that town. So those people who get on quickly and talk to the seniors, and if their facility is good, so they were able to get that,
And
senior placed.
and I think
Yeah.
a lot of what the idea behind of what Vinny's doing is doing clusters, and he's building brand identity. So he's
Yes.
building a brand. So he's going to have, let's just say, 5 or 6 houses in this
Yep.
market, right? And now they're all
Mhm.
named the same thing, different
Yes.
streets, obviously, but they all have the
Yeah.
same branding and identity. And so that's going to
Yes.
bring in, oh, well, I can't get into this one in this zip code, but there's one 2 miles down the street. So
Yeah.
then you don't
Yeah.
have to necessarily pay these placement fees. In the beginning, you're probably going to, let's call it bite the bullet and pay somebody
Yeah.
to place it, and you're going to pay first month rent. You're going to factor that into your projections and your pro forma for your SBA
Mhm.
loan or whatever, typically.
I hope everybody just, think about when you want to accomplish something, you figure out ways. And I was able to close that my first RAL in 10 days, guys, 10 days. And the seller had 6 months to keep on selling, and she just couldn't sell it. And two parties came and they just took her for a ride for 2, 3 months, and then they backed out and all that. And she and I talked. She says, Vinny, you are the person. I know you are the person. You could close next week. I said, give me 3 more extra days. And we closed it in 10 days,
Yeah, and I know some of you on here are maybe real estate agents. Like, hey, if you
Yep.
understand this game, there's huge
Mhm.
opportunities to find operators like Vinny. Typically, you're looking for a
Totally.
one-story property that is
Yes, one
large
story.
bedroom count already, with a
Mhm.
nice yard, good location. So, like, I think if I was an agent and I understood this game, I would find the Vinnies of the world, because they'll buy 2, 3, 5 of these from you, right? And if you're selling
Yep.
$1 million properties on the West Coast, you're making some pretty
Yes.
good coins.
See, the thing is, I hope everybody and thank you again so much for really sticking with us through the whole webinar. And I hope Bo and I were able to give you great value for your time and everything, energy. But please take action. That's what I talk about. My positive book also. The third one, second one, my third one was senior living. Please, get motivated, because it's not what we learn, it's what we apply. So please, maybe next month when you come back, you say, Vinny, hey, you helped me and I bought my first home already. So that'll be great. And you could DM us. We are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on LinkedIn, we are on YouTube channels, everywhere.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. Thanks for all the nice
Thank you.
thumbs up and hearts. Thank you,
Yes.
everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
We're
Really
trying to bring
appreciate
some
that.
education to everybody, to take
Yes.
action. That's why we have the Vinny and Bo show, because we like
Yeah.
bringing on guests and talking. But these webinars, I think, are even 10 times better. Today was great. I think you crushed
Yes.
it today, Vinny. Crushed it. So good.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank
We'll
you
see
so
soon.
much, guys. See
All
you
right.
sometime. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Hi guys, Bo Exian here. If you want to visit myterritorycheck.com to find out if the franchise we spoke about on the show, or maybe it's one you've investigated and you're trying to see if it's available in your market, you simply go to myterritorycheck.com and we'll do a quick search for you. You enter in your name, email, zip code, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible if that particular franchise is available. We'll also send other franchises similar to that if it's not available, so you can figure out what is available in your marketplace as you're diving into different franchise models. So go to myterritorycheck.com and we'll help you out as quickly as possible. See you soon. Hey guys, Bo Exian here. If you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe to this channel. We talk all things financing. I've been in the lending industry for over 20 years, and I'm happy to answer your questions and provide great content.